The ranking member said the United States needs to be more like Europe. Do you agree with that?
No, I think Mr.
That would be the dumbest thing ever. How about you, Mr. Portuguese? You think we should be more like Europe?
No, I don't. We should.
Wasn't it about like 20 years ago, the GDP in the European Union, which was like 400-some million people, and the GDP in the United States was like 300-some million people, was roughly the same, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
What's it today?
correct.
What's it today?
It's a 1/3 higher in the...
And that's even accounting for Brexit, right?
Right.
Yeah, and in the UK, it's actually 40% lower in the UK.
You got a member of Congress saying we should be more like Europe. That may be one of the craziest things I've ever. What do you think, Mr. Auer? Should we be more like Europe?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, not just overall, but with a digital marketing act that we're gonna. How many big tech companies does Europe have, by the way?
None.
Zero. So we want to take this. Well, we got like 7 humongous tech companies that have done amazing things, and they're not perfect. I went after them before that. For goodness sake, they shadow banned me. We found out a few years ago, so I went after them. They're not perfect, but they're amazing. And what's Europe want to do? Oh, we can't create them because we got layer of bureaucracy on top of bureaucracy. Our GDP is like flat while America's is growing like crazy. So let's go shake down the American tech industry. Is that right, Mr.? I see you shaking your head, Mr. Portuguese. Is that right?
The main thing about competition is that we need dynamic competition, and Europe is frozen into a static competition where we preserve the status quo. And so what the core of the competitive process is competition on the merit, where there's disruptions, technological innovations. It's not about protecting the current incumbents and
choice and competition to get growth and good things for consumers. The chairman makes this point better than anyone. But when we were over there this summer in Europe, we met with the app creators in Europe, and they told us, they said, you know what? If you got a new app, you know where you go? You don't go to Europe. You go to the United States, or frankly, I was surprised. They said you go to the United States or Dubai. You don't go to Europe. Because you can't, there's so much regulation, you can't do it. And it's even scary because it's not just the Digital Marketing Act. It's also the Digital Services Act. Right. So they get into the censorship thing. Mm-hmm. So maybe that's why Democrats want us to be more like Europe, so they can censor what Americans are saying, but I don't want that. Yeah. And it's just a matter of time before it happens, because we had, it was the irony how the good Lord works. It was amazing. We had Nigel Farage testifying, and that very week, the day before he came, Graham Linehan, a comedian, issues a tweet while he's in Arizona. So an Irish citizen does a tweet in Arizona, flies to Heathrow, and gets arrested for what he tweeted here. And he's not even a citizen of the UK. That's the online service, but it's the same as the Digital Services Act.
It's part of the same package. The Digital Services Act is one leg, the DMA is the other leg. Yep. And more generally, there's the Cloud Act, and there's also the EU AI Act, which is coming. So it's part of what they call legislative package. It's not one regulation or the other. Those comes by packages of regulations.
So such a deal, and I know Mr. Singh and Mr. Auer want to get in here, but it's such a deal. We can censor American speech, censor European speech, censor American speech, and they don't do what we want on the set. We can shake them down and get a ton of money under the DMA. Wow, such a deal. Yeah. And we got members on the other side saying, we should do that. We should embrace that. Mr.
Yeah,
Singh,
I was just going to say, with respect to Europe, I think, it's not working that well over there, so we certainly don't want it over here. But I mean, it's very clear, if you look at the data in the last 25 years, the European economies, particularly Western European economies, the Central Eastern Europeans are doing slightly better, have absolutely stagnated. In fact, in many cases, some of the member states, Germany, for example, have been in a contraction phase. I mean, not just GDP per capita going down, but overall GDP going down. And this is why it is so troubling for European citizens, because their prospects, their growth prospects are looking extremely bad at the moment. And this is something they've done to themselves. This is not something that's been imposed from without. It's the regulatory approach of the Europeans, of which the DMA and the DSA are examples, that have led to this crisis in Europe.
I'm going to give Mr. Auer the last 30 seconds.
I think America has one superpower above all. It's the faith in free markets. And in our space, that leads to evidence-based antitrust that tries to ensure that consumers get the best deal, and that puts aside the idiosyncratic preferences of enforcement and looks at the data coldly and dispassionately.
Europeans recognize their over-regulations. As Chairman Fitzgerald mentioned, we have the Draghi report. If you read the Draghi report in Europe, it says like, we killed innovation in Europe by European regulations. So Europeans themselves recognize they're over-regulated. That's why now they posed the EU AI Act. They know they're killing the regulation. So it's not like there's no diagnosis. The diagnosis is here. So why would you emulate and copy something that they themselves recognize as broken?